Hello everyone, I am Colonel Shantanu Roy from Fearless Leaders and I am back again. Today I will talk of something different from what videos of mine that you've seen. Till now I have been talking on life skills such as motivation, leadership, communication skills and so on. But then I thought that as I have retired for the army, my knowledge of the armed forces, the Indian Army, and also the education that I have got from my doctorate and other degrees should be of value to people. So I thought that I will touch on some of the hot topics which are in the world happening and which will make an impact on the youngsters maybe preparing for the exams or even for knowledge. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I will speak about the Indian Army, what it is, what are its facets, what is its mission, what is its doctrine, and a little bit about the history, so that people, especially in the CV street, are updated and also know about it. So today I'll be talking about the Indian Army, which is the land-based component of the armed forces. The other components are the Indian Navy, the Indian Air Force and the Coast Guard. We should be proud that we have the second largest standing volunteer army after China, which has a strength of 14 lakh plus, and the fourth largest person-to-person armed forces in the world. Now, the mission of the Indian Army is basically to guard the nation's frontiers from any external aggression. But, however, over a period of time, we have also been carrying out internal security activities to curtail the insurgencies in Kashmir and Northeast. Also, the army is planning to enhance its special forces, that is the para special forces capabilities, so that trans-border operations like the surgical strikes can be carried out. We also have an international footmark in the United Nations, and gentlemen, here I would like to highlight that we have the largest contingent for the UN or the United Nations in many missions across the world. The army has many corps and commands in which some of them are having strike capabilities, some of them have counter strike capabilities, and some of them are holding formations. Holding formations are those which hold the line of control or also across the international border, and strike formations or counter strike formations are those which go across when there is a battle into the enemy territory and try to capture land or recapture back what has been taken by the enemy in case there is something like that. The Indian Army is headed by a 4-star general and a 5-star is called a field marshal. Till now there have only been 2 field marshals. One has been Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, who was the Chief of Army Staff during the 1971 Indo-Pak War, in which Bangladesh was liberated and created. And the second one is Field Marshal Karyappa, who was our first Commander-in-Chief after we gained independence. And today the Chief of Army Staff is General Manoj Pandey. Here I would like to again highlight that the President is the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. That includes all the 4 facets of it. Now going on to a little bit into the history of the Army. The Indian Army basically was raised during the British Raj in the erstwhile East India Company in 1895, when a Department of Military Affairs was created by the East India Company, so that any requisitions which was given to the British Army was dealt by this. So this was the small little department which was handling the paperwork and working as a via media between the East India Company and erstwhile armed forces that was existing. Basically it was all land based, and there were 4 presidencies which were being held during the British Raj. They were the presidencies of Punjab, Madras, Bombay and Bengal. And when after independence all this was merged and the Indian Army was created and regiments and units were again renamed after the localities or the castes or the states, so that the fighting forces had bonhomie between them during battle, because the caste, creed and the religion, not the religion exactly, because the Indian Army is till now the only force which is secular, and there is no reservations and nothing based on religion. But yes, state wise there are divisions so that people can gel well, and during a battle they can communicate better. The Indian Army also has actively participated in the World War I as part of the British Army, and also our army has taken part in the World War II. More than 1.3 million personals have fought both these wars and have won many a gallantry awards under the Britain Army. Also during independence, out of the 10 Gurkha regiments, 4 have gone and are still serving under the British Army, and 6 regiments are with the Indian Army. Nepal still sends its recruits to both these armies. Their personals are given a special allowance and special privileges to serve with both these armies. There is a pact which has happened with Nepal and Britain, and also between Nepal and India. During the World War I, our soldiers fought on many fronts across Europe and Africa, and same is the case during World War II, when these men fought alongside their British counterparts as the allies against the German forces and the Japanese forces. They also, when captured as PWDs, and these soldiers when captured as prisoners of war, were given a chance to join the Free India Legion or the Indian National Army, because these were 2 movements which were going on to liberate India from the clutches of the British. So when the Germans captured our prisoner of war, the Indian prisoners of war, they were given a chance, and there were about 3,000 to 4,000 of these personnel who joined both these forces, and though did not see much of active service, but fought to liberate India, because there was a pact which had happened after the World War II that if the Indian Army assists the British Army, they would be given the freedom. But it happened after 2 years, because the modalities had to be worked out, and after 1947 the Indian Army was formed, and that time General Cariappa was the first commander-in-chief. After independence, the first commander-in-chief, General Cariappa, took over on the 15th of January 1949. After independence, like I had mentioned, that Indian contingent is the largest contingent in the UN forces, and we have had the proud privilege of serving in Cyprus, Lebanon, Congo, Angola, Cambodia, Vietnam, Namibia, Liberia, Mozambique, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, Somalia and many more countries, where we have also gone as a peacekeeping force and also as observers. The Indian Army also had major operations like Operation Vijay, Operation Meghdoot, Operation Cactus, and also in Sri Lanka. The army has carried out major exercises with the Navy and the Air Force, and maybe also with various other countries as joint operations. They have also been named like the Malabar exercises. I will cover these in my subsequent videos, and certain major operations within the army to carry out their drills are done time to time, and the major one was Operation Brass Tacks and Exercise Shoorveer. And since its formation as the Indian Army after independence, we have seen active battle service in many fields like the Indo-Pak War of 1947-48 in Kashmir. Then is Operation Polo, that is annexation of Hyderabad in 1948, liberation of Goa in 1961, Indo-Pak War of 1965, the Indo-China War in 1962, liberation of Bangladesh in 1971. This was a battle fought on two fronts, and we were victorious enough, and Bangladesh was created. Then in 1999 we had a localized war in Kargil, which you all or the present generation is aware of, and we have had the Siachen conflict with China, skirmishes at Doklam over a period of time which keep happening, skirmishes in the east in Arunachal Pradesh which keep happening and which keep popping up in the news, where we have been able to successfully thwart the villainous attempts of our neighbors, and the famous surgical strikes which have been happening time and again to contain the terrorist mastermind bends which have been happening and destroy these dens. My subsequent videos will speak separately on each battle, each exercise, and also a little insight on the UN missions will be given. Before I shoot my subsequent videos, I would like to give you a little insight into the Indian Army structure. The Indian Army is formed in 7 commands, that is the Northern Command, the Southern Command, the Western Command, the Eastern Command, and the Southwestern Command, and the Training Command. And we are formed into 2 type of groups as the arms, that is the fighting arms, and the services who give the logistic support to the fighting arms when they go into battle. The fighting arm is the infantry, the armored corps, and the supporting arms are artillery, air defense, the Army Aviation Corps, the Corps of Engineers, the Corps of Signals, and the mechanized infantry. And the services comprises of the electronic and mechanical engineers, the Army Service Corps, the Army Ordnance Corps, and not to forget the Army Medical Corps and Army Dental Corps, and the military nursing services who give us the treatment to the injured and to the ill and sick. Now dwelling on to some of the regiments of the infantry are the Parachute Regiment, the Punjab Regiment, Madras Regiment, the Grenadiers, Maratha Light Infantry, Rajputana Rifles, Rajput Regiment, the Jat Regiment, Sikh Regiment, the Sikhlai Regiment, Dogra Regiment, Garhwal Rifles, Kumaon Regiment, Assam Regiment, Bihar Regiment, Mahar Regiment, the Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, the Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry, the Naga Regiment, and the Gurkha regiments, the 6 of them which came to India. And we have the Ladakh Scout, the Rashtriya Rifles, the Arunachal Scouts, and the Sikkim Scouts. And under the Home Ministry, we have the Assam Rifle. The rank structure of the army will be flashed as you will see on your screens. The arms and equipments used by our army are varied, and they are no less in technology than any of the leading armies of the world. We have the small arms, we have the tanks, we have the helicopters or the choppers that are called to transport the personnel from place to place B. Also, we have the missiles, and mind it, we do have ICBMs like the Agnis, the cruise missiles, the anti-tank guided missiles, and the RT has got the latest of the Bofors, which have got a high trajectory, howitzer range, and the vehicle are of assorted types of different makes and types to cater for all the type of terrains and weathers. We have also got all-terrain kind of vehicles which assist the personnel to be launched into battle and be successful. So gentlemen, keep watching this series of videos for knowing more about the war, the equipments and other facets of our great army. Jai Hind.